This coverage will be brought to you with 0 YouTube ads for the first 24 hours, courtesy of Arby's. Hello and welcome to the exciting conclusion of the 2020 Discraft LEDGESTONE Insurance Open. This is stop 7 of the 10 on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We have got final round front 9 action at Lake Eureka. Big Barry commentary, Jerm and Koling, joined by Paul Ulibarri.
Yeah, let's get straight to the action. How about it with Ricky Wysocki? He's leading the tournament at -23 under par.
And he's only missed one putt inside the circle so far. Kevin Jones, he's trying to make a case at this title. He has played very solid. He had one struggle front 9 yesterday and kind of clawed things back on the back. And Paul McBeth, obviously former champion of this event, won his world championships at this venue last year. He's excited to make a last round chase. And we've got the young fella from Arizona, Anthony Barela. He's a beanstalk, tall, skinny, throws a mile, forehand, backhand, and when his putt's on, he's the man.
I'm not sure what the hardest starting hole is in the country, but Lake Eureka, hole 1 is definitely one of them. Measuring in at 633 feet, this tee shot requires a carryover water of 300 feet. If you don't manage to do so, you better have a backup disc because Lake Eureka is known for taking your disc and not giving it back. If you do clear the water, the landing zone actually shrinks the further you throw it. So distance control is important. And if that isn't hard enough, the green has slopes on both sides, making it difficult to approach. Let's see how it plays out.
And it's only 300 feet to cross the water, but where these guys are trying to go, it's closer to 400 to 450 clearance.
Two-time world champion, Ricky Wysocki.
Which most of the time, if you're on the lead card, you have 400 plus distance in the bag.
But this tee shot just has a way of making players come up just a bit short. You see so many shots land in the water. Ricky making sure not to make that mistake. He gets early turn, rips a very stable driver, gets it over the hill, and that's where you see a lot of good drives.
Next up, from Greenwood, Arkansas, Kevin Jones.
Yeah, a lot of people like to put it on Anheuser with the helping wind from left to right. You put it on Anheuser with a stable disc and it'll push over, then hyzer back. Safest way to go because with that stable disc, it's really hard to go out of bounds deep.
Kevin Jones, 7 shots back of the leader. He's going to need an incredible round, and that is not the way to start off. Oh, it almost skips back up onto the rocks, but those rocks don't seem to collect many shots, and that falls back OB.
Next up, from Huntington Beach, California, the defending Discraft LEDGESTONE Insurance Open champion, 5-time world champion, Paul McBeth.
The only person I would think that's going to be getting aggressive on this hole would be Anthony Barela. The kid's fearless.
Yeah.
And he has the distance to get all the way to the pin. I actually believe he's been circle 2 before in this tournament and possibly even to the hole.
Anthony Barela.
He's got that perfect disc golf build, tall, skinny, long arms, and a quick rotation. And that, see how much more aggressive that line is. He doesn't play Anheuser, just kind of goes hyzer flip flat straight towards the pin, and there it is. That'll be just a jump putt approach. He might even be in circle 2. That's such a huge drive. Kevin having to go to the drop zone, that is a long way away, and
this needs to hurry, yeah.
Get down. Kevin has gone out of bounds right. And one thing you don't want to do if you're trying to chase Ricky Wysocki is give him any hope to just Okay, well, that's a bit errant.
Yeah, that could have leaked out of bounds. It doesn't. Yeah, there's a lot of room, actually. Surprising. You see the disc go over the hillside, kind of like this one, and you think the worst. But there is a lot of room, surprisingly, down there.
Not many good putting lanes through the bushes, but it does seem to stop your disc from going OB.
And this is just a nightmare start for Kevin on really playing as kind of the mid-pack as far as difficulty.
Yeah. Right there, tucked in the 9th most difficult. There's so many holes that play above par. Anthony giving that a good run for the eagle. Catching the cushion underneath the basket. And see if Ricky's got a swing. He does. Collects the birdie, and Paul's just going to leapfrog over Kevin Jones with a 3-shot swing just right there on the first hole. And so that means that McBeth is going to be 9 back. He's going to be the closest person in the field with 17 holes to play.
One of the interesting things about this tournament in general is the Pro Tour has been made up of 6 previous stops, all being 3-round events. This is the first one of 4 rounds. So
yeah, correct.
It gave McBeth a little bit of time to kind of, they say the cream rises to the top.
Yep.
Gave him a little time to make the leaderboard to make this happen. Otherwise, other events, he would have been out of luck.
Hole 2, par 4, 615 feet. Par 4 is, I don't know what I'm saying. It's a low ceiling off the tee. A roller, backhand, turnover, and forehand are going to be the 3 plays. You've got out of bounds on the right side the whole way. And we saw Kevin almost push his forehand OB long in round 3.
Yeah, this is one of those holes where it's whatever you're most comfortable with, hitting that gap with that speed control. That's what you're going to want to do here.
And Ricky, so low off the tee shot, but as the slope goes down all the way down the hill, that is just perfect. That's one of the best shots you're ever going to see on this one.
Yeah, that was belted right down the fairway.
And if you just stop that right as he was cresting the hill, his disc was no more than a couple inches off the ground. Paul likes to go roller.
SS Avenger, that was a pretty high hop. This needs to sit down, and it will not. That's going to be out of bounds right.
And that's pretty early as well. That'll leave Paul 320 feet at least to the pin, which is so close to the water's edge. And Anthony, this is leaking early. He's got a lot of power, though, and oh my gosh, no way.
He has so much power, he almost went out of bounds every way you could go out of bounds on the hole, which really isn't possible. This needs to sit as well. And kind of a good break, but that's going to be a really tough swing from there.
Yeah.
But back to Anthony's shot, that had some juice to look like it could have went OB right.
And they're going to be deep.
Yeah.
That's one you'd have to be here to understand how bizarre that is.
Kevin, 2 straight, and that's out of bounds. And that was a really good shot from there.
Just to get there, yeah. Kind of a nightmare start for Kevin Jones. This is so good. Paul McBeth making the difficult look easy with that 330-foot approach with his buzz, leaving him just a short putt left for the par save.
This needs to go. That'll be a putt, but a really tricky one. Maybe low ceiling, maybe a straddle out. I mean, the kid's 9 foot tall, so he might be able to straddle out and make something happen.
And it's awesome to see Anthony Barela on the lead card here. Just 3 straight great rounds, as Ricky just is going to have a tap in here. But nothing too crazy. A 4 under, and then a 5 under. But these courses are so difficult that is enough to get on the lead card in this 4th round. And you'll never see 13 under make the lead card after 3 rounds really anywhere else on tour. As the card deliberates and gives Kevin his spot, and he just has to pitch up under the pin. for his 5, and Anthony's able to save the par.
Yeah, and he must have kept going underneath that. I thought he would have an obstructed putt, but wide open, easy little 20-footer.
That was a great approach for Paul.
Ricky is now going to go up by 10.
So before the event started, there was a lot of talk about adding Northwoods to this event. And one of the predictions that we had before the event started was with the addition of that course, introducing such a unique style of play to this event, that there could potentially be one player that would jump out ahead, and maybe potentially we could see a double-digit winner, which is something we don't ever really see on tour anymore. Ricky right now is making a strong case for that, but I'm sure Paul McBeth, Kevin Jones, and the rest are going to do their best to try to bring him back.
That's right.
As you see, hole 3, par 3, just straight up the hill, 260 feet. Ricky likes to go with his pig. And not perfect, but that'll do, pig.
Paul going and pulling it a little bit to the right, and that's hole 3 for you. As soon as you make a mistake, you're basically straight out of bounds unless you get a really good break off of those trees, but they don't like to give it up like that.
It just really exposes the slightest error in accuracy. And Anthony doing, oh boy, that's a good break to stay in bounds. You rarely see a shot hit those left side trees and stay in. Kevin needs a birdie right now. And he's going to get the double cart path skip and almost catching a little bit of metal. That's a great recovery after the early double bogey start. So just like that, Ricky with a chance to go up by 11.
Go by 12.
Well, Anthony is still up there.
Yeah. He would have still gone up by 12 if he made that right in this moment.
For a moment, yeah. So now Anthony has a chance to leapfrog Paul McBeth. So a lot of movement going on.
Just the first couple holes, that's what this course is all about. Bogeys, birdies, not a lot of pars.
And so just like that, Anthony Barela, who starts the round off in 4th place. 3 holes in, tees 2 under par, and now he's in 2nd. Only person not moving around is that man at the top, Ricky Wysocki. Hole 4, par 3, 423 feet. Mandatory through that tree right there on the right. And then there's that thick rough all the way down this fairway to the left. And as we move down the hill, the trees get more difficult to try to avoid because they are blind. And then you have that cart path that gets closer and closer to the pin all the way down the hill. Stable backhand mid-range wide or a flippy putter up the middle are 2 common plays. Got Anthony Barela going with his champion Rock 3. And that looks really good. Then you just sit down, though.
Oh, that's great.
Incredible. I think this is the hardest par 3 on the course. As far as, not because of out of bounds, but just hitting that line. But that's just, I don't know, maybe not everyone feels that way, but this is one of the more rarely two'd holes on the course.
I think the next hole's pretty difficult as well.
Rick's got this one turning the right direction.
He gives it a clap. This is going to be nice.
Yes. Another opportunity for Ricky to get a stroke on the field.
McBeth going with his Luna. That needs to stable up. It is trying. That helps.
Oh, yes, it does. And Paul parks it. I think that would have been probably safe.
Yeah, it would have been safe, but deep. And that's a tough putt coming up the hill for sure.
And Kevin wanting nothing to do with that one. Normally very aggressive putter, but you just cannot run that putt. It is just nothing but danger behind the pin. Even Anthony has a tricky putt, and he is able to connect on the birdie. $172 players in our final round, and 22 of them birdied this hole, 3 on this card. It's just an absolute clinic on how to play hole 4. It looks so easy, and it is anything but that. Onto the baseball field hole. Hole 5, par 3, 476 feet. And I'm not sure if that's as the crow flies or if that's just measuring the hyzer angle. Do you think that's straight from the tee pad to the pin?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like it's shorter than that.
Yeah, I believe that.
The disc has to travel about that if you want to play the big hyzer play. Any out of bounds goes to the drop zone. There's also OB deep.
And the only thing that this kid really has to worry about
is doing that. Early release.
I was just going to say.
Just for him, he's going 60%, 70% on his swing. It can be a tough thing. Sometimes you might want to think about clubbing down to a fairway driver so you can throw that 85% shot that's a little bit more natural.
Or Mr. Leader right here going with a pig.
Spider pig.
This guy's not going to be laying up. Full send.
You think Paul McBeth knows he's down by 11?
Yeah.
I don't think that he, I obviously he knows, but I don't think that when I see that I'm down by 11, I'm like, oh, well, I'll give it a better try next tournament. I think Paul thinks, okay, I've got 14 holes left to make 11 strokes. And that's what makes him so good.
Or he doesn't think about the scores at all.
Yeah, you probably know. I don't know.
I'm the same as you. I don't know.
We're all just guessing. This needs to go for Kevin.
Go in.
Oh, yeah. Such a fine line of a perfect shot, parking this hole and just connecting the top of that fence and having to go 380 feet back to the drop zone.
And now Kevin is gone. Birdie, par, birdie. Get right back to even.
And this is a bonus birdie. And honestly, I think for most of the field, hole 4 is a bonus birdie, so, it's averaging over par, so he's going to make up a lot of strokes on the field just in those 3, but he's not so worried about the field anymore. He's just trying to play match play with these guys on this card. And that's a good shot for Anthony Barela. That's a blind shot. You can't really see the base of the basket from the drop zone the way that the baseball field curves.
He goes a little bit deep. That'll leave a little bit to be desired, I feel like. Bet you he makes it.
I'm not taking that bet. Woo! He made it close, though.
Yeah. Don't do that, Paul. Trying to make you look good here.
He's got him for that.
Yeah.
He doesn't need you to make him look good, man. Oh. Chink in the armor for Ricky as he plays the hole safe and does not get rewarded. But more often than not, a misplay on this hole results in a double bogey 5. You even see the triple bogey 6 sometimes, so could have been worse, obviously. Kevin with a nice park job. That feels good. He's got a little confidence moving into a pretty difficult section as we move on to hole 6. A very tough par 4, 885 feet. Big hyzer off the tee, but you really want to get as close to that right side out of bounds as possible if you're going for the shot into. More often than not, players will play this one just for the par because coming into this green with a high-speed disc can be a very scary thing to do.
One of the things you got to watch out for on this drive is you put it out over the out of bounds, wanting it to obviously drift back inbounds. But the way the hole is designed with that out of bounds is it gets wider as it goes. So you have more room to work with the shorter you go. And that's deceiving. So like Paul's shot right here, perfect. The further he goes, the shorter that OB comes in on the right. So somebody who flips it up flat on that same line
To try to get more distance, bite more off.
can definitely drift a little bit and go straight out of bounds. Like this one probably is going to be pretty close to hitting that out of bounds line as the further it goes, like I said.
Yeah. And that'll be out of bounds early, and it's going to be, I don't even know if Kevin really has a decision to go for the pin. He'll most likely just have to.
Yeah, there's no going for the pin from there. You got to chip up to the middle, pitch up.
Well, I know this young fella right here one time threw one almost in circle 2 in practice just to try to see if he could get all the way to the pin and try to 2 this hole. Not that he would ever do it in tournament play, but that just kind of shows off how much distance Anthony Barela really has.
He has all the distance.
Yeah, he really is an elite distance thrower.
Top 10 for sure, furthest throwers on the planet.
Yeah,
At least on the golf course. There's a good shot from Rick right in the middle. That's a really good indication, or I guess you'll have a good number from that birdhouse right there into the pin.
Okay. And, you know, you also have Bushnell rangefinders now that all these players are equipped with, and in the past we kind of just had to use our best judgment to kind of guess how far the pin was. And
This needs to go.
that does cross in bounds. Kevin will get to advance up to that corner.
Really easy to do on this hole. That's why it's playing as a third most difficult hole.
Yeah, big numbers on this 4.73 average, obviously indicating how many double bogeys and triple bogeys this hole collects and just how few birdies you see. Ricky just playing it smart, playing for his 4.
Again, Paul McBeth will not be playing it
no
for
safe today. This is going to be an
4.
all-out round for McBeth, without question. And this is what you like to see with this grass, as grabby as it is. It doesn't matter how much angle it has. He's just going to get a little bit of movement forward. And a short birdie putt left for the elusive 3 on hole 6.
That'll give Anthony a nice read on the distance.
Yeah, and this is high. This needs to catch hard. And that was in danger the whole time. The one place where the grass is maybe just a bit shorter than anywhere else happens to be the green where you want it to be the thickest.
Imagine the crowd, though, watching that come in thinking, what if?
Yeah,
what
no
if he
kidding.
hits that basket? What a 2 that would be.
Oh, my goodness. And Kevin, he is looking at that short putt for the double bogey 6. It's golf. You got that big lead. No need to take any risks on a hole as challenging as this one. Man, that's tough. So after 2 great shots from Anthony, 1 short missed putt, bogey 5, just like that. Paul able to collect the birdie. And I guess one could say maybe Anthony's shot wasn't great, but it had a good chance of going in and could have stuck on the green, but just happened
It was
to trickle out.
aggressive.
It was aggressive. It was what he needed to do. But that's going to be back-to-back bogeys for Anthony now on 5 and 6. And now Paul leapfrogs Anthony Barela for second place. There you go. There's more movement once again on this card all over the place. Every hole seems to be another exciting story in the development of race for second place. And we'll see if Ricky ever shows any more chinks in his armor, but he is looking so safe right now. The way he's playing, smooth, collected, making the right decisions. We're moving on to the easiest hole on the course, hole 7, par 3. 275 feet, straight as an arrow. Just got to miss those last couple trees in the fairway, and you're home free.
I really like this hole. It's kind of out of place on this course, honestly, as you play a lot of wide open. There's one kind of technical hole before that in hole 4.
Yeah.
But this one's just grab your straightest shot.
And Paul's straightest shot in this situation is a little mild flex with the Z-zone. Catching just a little bit of love in that last tree. And
I guess it's not really your straightest shot. I guess it's your... You really want to go from left to right here. I see a lot of people doing the backhand, but again, just like Northwoods showed us, there's that staggered tree there on the left, which really makes that backhand for a righty difficult, and it's just an easier shape for the sidearm. So you're going to want to throw that stable putter sidearm if you got it.
Yep. And I think Anthony is going with a stable mid-range. Just needs to miss that last one. Oh, almost drawing some cage action. Nice control from these first 3 drives. Kevin, however, will be going with, I believe, a disc out of my collection, the Garrett Girthy PA4. And that's a
awesome.
park job.
That thing's got to be very flippy.
Yeah, those PA4s. Good throwers for a player like Kevin, who has so much control with that hyzer angle and controlled that left to right motion so effortlessly. And we have got 4 players parked, and that's going to be another star frame birdie for Edge, $25. Edge is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to reaching and teaching the next generation of disc golfers. Obviously an incredible program for us to partner up with, and so cool to see these guys do great things. Even if it is the easiest hole in the course, money goes to a good cause, and that's always good. Hole 8, par 4, 793 feet through this tunnel. Got to get across the gap, otherwise you have to go to a just extremely treacherous drop zone. From there, the landing zone gets super tight on these approaches as the creek comes in play. There's actually a big puddle, or the smallest pond in the world on the right that you can go out of bounds in, and a very skinny landing zone indeed.
You really called it a puddle?
Is it a pond on the right?
Yes.
It's like 25 feet wide.
A puddle is exactly what it says in the name, a puddle. I've never seen a puddle that big.
It is what it says it is, a puddle.
Yeah.
How does a puddle that's not a one-word definition for itself.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Puddle does not mean large.
Orange is a one-word definition for what it is. It's
Ricky grabbing
the
his
color.
destroyer, throwing a nice turn here, getting a full flight, and this is gone.
It is so far. You gotta love Ricky's angles with those big distance drivers.
This is interesting. Anthony actually going for the sidearm. With his distance, this would be, lesser of the two, which would be considered more of a puddle throw.
Oh my God, stop. And I like this play for Anthony because he's got that huge whip of a forehand, but it goes out to the right side. He's getting all the distance you need, but out to the right side, it actually opens up another forehand if he chooses so, or the backhand anhyzer with a putter, which makes that gap even wider. So
That's a really good point. I think it's definitely more scoreable from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, like you're saying.
Yep, and Kevin Jones, he's going to have to test his luck from the straight side, but with his backhand putter and mid-range ability, he should be able to open up that gap just fine. And this is looking so good. Just
Hurry.
No. So close to perfection. Just maybe 1 foot farther right. This man is playing good disc golf right now.
Yeah, he's having a really nice stretch from that bogey he took on hole 3. Really cleaned it up. This looks just so good.
Park job. And we'll finally move up to Ricky's drive. Just a pig left to the pin. And this is a little high. Needs to get down quick.
Uh-oh.
Heading towards the pondle. You really have to go pretty far right to be in any danger of getting over there. But occasionally you'll see an approach leak out and catch some water over there. Anthony able to save the par. Five consecutive birdies now for McBeth. And that's just one small skip away from a consecutive star frame for our group. 3 under. And they are playing some good disc golf right now as we move on to hole 9, par 3, 354 feet. We are at the bridge hole. This hole plays as an island down to the green coming up here. Just got to throw backhand mid-range, maybe a fairway driver for some of these guys, and you'll also sometimes see a sidearm flex. Any out-of-bounds shot would proceed to the drop zone, which is right at the end of this bridge. Paul McBeth is not going to the drop zone.
Ricky going with the pig. Probably, I would think he was trying to play this one to circle's edge left.
That I'm kind of puzzled by that. I don't know why. I feel like a mid-range is a good distance for Ricky, but I mean, to be able to throw an overstable putter 354 like that, that's pretty impressive. Like, to me, it is.
Yeah, I mean, he puts it right there at right at the circle, and he'll have a nice little putt there for bird.
As you called it. Kevin asking for it to sit down. Maybe, I think he knew the distance was right, just didn't want it to fade too far to the left.
Anthony just needing this to actually get down. Probably circle 2-ish.
Yeah, we got one putt clearly outside the circle and 2 guys on the edge, and Paul McBeth is parked.
He is so long.
It's incredible. When I play with Anthony, I'm like, gosh, you're tall. Then I have to
Yeah.
look in a mirror and be like, oh yeah, I'm tall too. But he just seems taller because he's so skinny.
couple putts in a row from Ricky that are just a bit low, but when you're leading by 33, you can miss a few low as long as you're landing in bounds.
Kevin just out the side of the circle. That's
Poor
money
basket.
zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor basket. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't stand a chance from that range. Ooh, a little bit of an annoying rollback after the missed birdie putt, but he needs to be careful right now because Paul McBeth is about to bring that within 7. We've got 9 holes to play. You know, bit hyperbole to always say anything can happen, but Lake Eureka, really, it's true.
Yeah, it's the one place you can say that with confidence.
Yeah. So Paul McBeth wrapping up the front 9 with 6 consecutive birdies, and he's making a move right now. And obviously, Ricky's still in front by 7 shots over McBeth. McBeth opening up a 4-shot advantage over 3rd place. So things are starting to shape up here. We're starting to see where people are going to settle in, but there's still a few more holes to make a charge at the title. Any thoughts on the front 9?
No, not really. I think that, Ricky and Paul really kind of pulling away from the pack as we probably expected at the beginning of the tournament, but we also have a nice battle there for 3rd. We have a lot of people coming up from lower cards that are making a run, and the back 9 is full of birdie chances and also big-time bogey chances, so I'm excited to see what happens back there, but, so far, super exciting.
Just 9 holes left in the 2020 LEDGESTONE Insurance Open. Thank you so much to the JomezPro Founders Club. Come back for the conclusion of this event. We'll see you in a minute.